Here we go.
Well, let's get to the game last night, the NFL game, because it is back. It took Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs just a quarter to get going last night. Then it was all KC. The Texans were the first to score, but then it was the Chiefs who finished the game on a 34-13 run to finish the final three quarters. Mahomes had just over 200 yards through the air, along with 3 touchdowns on an efficient 24-for-32 night. So, Shannon, what was your biggest takeaway from last night?
Well, I'm feeling good about my pick.
I'd say you should.
They picked right up where they left off, Skip. It's going to be very difficult to stop this team because now they can really run the football. The thing is that, okay, when we set our defense, okay, what are we going to take away? We want to take away Mahomes. So what we're going to do, we're going to play coverage. So we're going to have a light box, and we're going to try to get guys up on the routes, try to play up over the top. And guess what? Edwards-Helaire, against a light box, 10 rushes, 96 yards. Skip, what he finished with, Skip? He had a good day, right?
Yeah.
25 for $138. Now, there are a couple of guys that had rushing days like that, and they either saw the stat, they either won the rushing title or they were Rookie of the Year.
Well, it's a better debut than Saquon had.
Yeah, we talk about Saquon. We talk about Saquon a little later, maybe another show.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to stop this team, Skip. And when you look at the numbers, Mahomes, I mean, he just ain't going to throw no interception on opening day, Skip. That just ain't going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. And he just, as Alex said, a very efficient. He should have had 4 touchdowns because Robinson dropped one. Skip, let's take a look at this. I mean, I don't know what to say about Mahomes, boy. Yeah. Show this pass.
Yeah.
He should have 4 touchdowns, Skip.
You're calling for video?
Yeah. He dropped one earlier, too. He dropped that one. You remember he had the one earlier?
Tough catch, but he dropped it.
You know what, Skip, baby? I can't believe it.
Shannon Sharp would have put that in his back pocket. I got it.
So you compare Robinson to Shannon Sharp?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. But normally when we think of Chiefs, we think of quick strike. 50 yards, 60 yards, over the top, boom, gone.
I agree.
Now they're going 11 plays, 75 yards, 16 plays, 85 yards. That's the longest drive of his young career.
Okay.
As far as plays.
Yep.
And they can do that, so now they can hit you with the quick strike, and they can grind the game out.
Yep.
Skip, you know, they're the first team to win a Super Bowl, had the fewest carries in the NFL. And so now they can run it with this young kid, Edwards-Helaire. Skip, you got your work cut out for it. Now, the defense is going to have to shore up because I'm sure people are looking like, oh, David Johnson had some holes. He was running the ball. And Deshaun didn't play bad. But at the end of the day, Skip, Kansas City is just a better team than the Texans. And I don't know what Bill O'Brien was thinking. I thought David Johnson had a great debut with the Texans.
Yeah.
But ain't no way I'm giving up D-Hop for David Johnson.
I'd say. If you look at Deshaun's receivers last night, Fuller caught 8, and then it just drops off the cliff.
Yeah.
And my man Kenny Stills was nowhere to be found. He had 2 targets and no catches. Brandon Cooks had 2 for 20. It just doesn't look good for the near future of the Houston Texans.
No.
Okay, my takeaway from last night was I sat back at the end of the night, and my first thought was, I got to put up with that no good Shannon Sharp gloating about his Lakers and, quote-unquote, his Chiefs, and I still don't understand how somebody who bleeds orange, a Denver Bronco, has now jumped aboard and is driving the bandwagon of the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that you were raised in football to hate.
Yep.
Am I right about
Raiders
that?
too.
Huh?
Raiders also.
And Chiefs.
Yes.
Now you love the Chiefs.
I don't know if I love the Chiefs. I like rooting for my homeboy.
Okay, I'll give you that much. So the other thought I had at the end of the night when I sat back was, this is almost unfair. Seriously. Because I told you on the show repeatedly how much I loved Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I pushed before the draft. I was hoping Brady's new team would snatch him in the second round and that Brady would have another option to toss it to or hand it to because Clyde Edwards-Helaire can catch the football, and he was not needed to catch the ball last night, right?
Nope.
So, again, Andy Reid had the foresight, once again, to snatch him right up in the second round. Because look what they did. Would you believe they ran the ball 34 times as a team?
Yeah.
to only 32 passes. Andy Reid said, I'm going to run the ball. Now, it was rainy. It looked like it was off and on, and I don't know if that hurt the passing attack a bit. But the point was, he ran it 2 more times than he threw it. That's because 25 carries went to the little man from LSU. And I got to throw this in real quick because I get the comparisons to MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Right.
This little man already reminds me of somebody I covered for a long time. And I don't believe this is hyperbole. He's got some Emmitt Smith going on. Emmitt Smith was 5'9", 210-ish. This young man is 5'7", 207-ish, okay? They're out of the same mold. They run the same way. Emmitt's greatest strength was you couldn't see him. He was short enough that he would duck and dodge behind those elephant linemen that they had. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire has those Emmitt feet, those stutter steps.
Skip, I don't know if he's as good a pure runner as Emmitt was. Now, he might, because he can catch obviously he can catch the ball, and Emmitt didn't run in the offset. Skip, they run a lot of, that zone read and stuff like that, so he's going to be really good.
Okay,
but as far as just pitching and then tossing it to him.
The balance, could we see the 27-yard run?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the movie put on that safety that they have, that Antonio Holmes they just picked up? I'm sorry, Antonio Hamilton. Yeah. I mean, that's an Emmitt Smith little stutter step, hard cut right, where you just left him in the dust.
Well, you got no chance, Skip, because unless you're playing in the box and be down there before he can put that move on you. But you're so worried about that Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman and Reek and Travis Kelce. So now we got to be on our heels worried about the pass, and the next thing you know, here's the guy running up on you.
Whoa. Okay. And by the way, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he had an efficient night, but not a spectacular one. He threw for a grand total of 211. Does that knock your socks off? Okay. But he had a QBR of 90. Scale of 0 to 100 is very good because he was very efficient when he completes 24 of 32. That will work. He didn't do it. He threw no interceptions, and he threw 3 touchdown passes. Do you realize 30% of his career touchdown passes have come in the month of September? He always gets off hot, and he was hot last night. Now, my final takeaway from last night, can somebody please explain why your Kansas City Chiefs look like they were in midseason form, and Bill O'Brien's Texans look like they had just finished their first virtual OTA? Am I right?
Yeah.
One team looked really well coached and well prepared on both sides of the ball, and the other team looked like it wasn't sure what was happening, and they were trying to play their way into the RPM of the game.
Well, Skip, I think you're going to see more of teams looking like the Texans than probably the Chiefs.
You're probably right.
Because you got to think about it, Skip. There's not a whole lot of tackling, and there was no